What's up, everybody? It's Fish from Gone Fishkin on idobi Radio. We're outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now because it's the 25th anniversary of the Vans Warped Tour. They have an incredible exhibit downstairs, so let's stop wasting time. Let's go in for the first look. So, congratulations on the 25th anniversary of the Vans Warped Tour.
Oh, thank you very much, Fish. It's first time I'm walking into the exhibit too, and you walk in and emotions come back a little bit, you know?
I overheard you saying before we started rolling that that's artwork from the first Vans Warped Tour on that first guitar over there.
Yeah, very first guitar, the artwork when people mistook us as a monster truck show. Literally, no one knew what the Warped Tour, and this is before Steve Van Doren and the Vans family supported this project. And we went out, and I thought it'd be really cool to put a monster truck on it, but we literally had families showing up and asking for the Sublime and No Doubt truck. You know, that's how little some of the bands I brought out that became household names that first year.
How'd you guys go about picking which bands you guys wanted to have at this exhibit? This is probably an Amanda question.
Kevin was a great help in kind of connecting me with the artists, and everyone was super enthusiastic and excited to participate. So we had a wealth of choices of artifacts.
That's awesome. And this is only a temporary piece right now, correct?
That's correct. It's a special exhibit to commemorate the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of Warped, and it's going to run probably until the end of November.
It's always been fun. Different years we've created different shoes, and there was a shoe that we had made with No Doubt. But this year we have Oliver Peck, who he was tattooing on the tour for many years. So I reached out to him to do the art down here on the slip-on 25th anniversary, as well as the red, because he loves red old school. But different years that we had different art that we put out between sandals and stuff for all the bands, and just the only place to get them was on the Vans Warped Tour.
Moving over here. Oh, my pajamas. Good Charlotte. I mean, Good Charlotte, my first memory of Warped Tour, Good Charlotte was, if anyone remembers that first Good Charlotte album, it was really lame, the album cover. And I almost didn't give a second chance. I was told this band Good Charlotte, I was sent the music, and I'm going, what a lame album cover. And I was asked to come down to the Troubadour and see the band, and I go, wow, these guys are awesome. I got to put them on Warped Tour. Literally, when they went on to sell millions of albums, after that first run of the album cover, they changed it to more of that symbol that they went with. So that was my memories of Good Charlotte on the tour. And they've come back, and they're going to be part of our 25th anniversary on a couple of the days coming up here, so it's great. Avenged Sevenfold showed up at the Vans Warped Tour with a smoke machine. and this is, up until that end, there's no production. Warped Tour was about the music and getting up there and play. And this is when they first started, and they brought a smoke machine. And you knew they were going to be big because they had a smoke machine.
And also, I noticed the Mayday Parade CD. Was that the album they were promoting when they were following around the tour?
Yes.
Walk the Lines, selling that EP and attending the tour as fans before they were playing as an artist on the tour.
And then I see Joan Jett set list right there, Shira Girl.
Yeah, I mean, Joan Jett, we've got a Joan Jett top here. I mean,
in this case, I wanted to point out that Joan Jett, who's also one of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, performed with Shira Girl on the Shira Girl stage here in Cleveland in 2006 on Warped Tour. So that's the shirt Shira Yevon was wearing, and the set list from that performance. And then as well as Joan's top and set list from Joan Jett and the Blackhearts performance on the same tour.
That's awesome. Now, is Joan Jett the only person who's played Warped Tour who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now?
Green Day are also inducted.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think we'll see a few more now that we're getting to those years. They're starting to wind down. But I was on a plane a couple weeks ago, and I was flying home, and I hadn't seen the Joan Jett documentary. And I watched it on the plane, and it was great to see the kind words she said about how Warped Tour reinvigorated having fun. But Joan Jett, it was really great to hear because, someone who's been through so much and done so much to actually talk about you in her life documentary about how coming on the Warped Tour brought fun back into music. And I'll never forget, it was Columbia, Maryland, and everyone was nervous. Joan Jett, she was we actually had a true rock star, the first rock star on Warped Tour. And everyone was nervous, is she going to need golf carts? And then I'm going, we don't treat people like rock stars on Warped Tour. And my guys were like, we have to give her a golf cart, we have to help. I'm like, okay. the first day, and they go get her in a golf cart, and all I hear her look at Kenny Laguna, who everyone knows is her manager and a great guy, and she goes, "Why am I in a golf cart? I want a bike. Get me a bike." And I was cracking up in the tent. I was sitting there, and I see this glaring look from Elliot, the road manager, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I didn't say anything. I wasn't even involved in this conversation. And all of a sudden, Kenny's like, comes to the production shop, and he goes, "I need 3 bicycles." And they got little Schwinn bicycles, and you never like seeing them riding through the compound every day to get to stage. She never rode a golf cart again.
I see Derek from Sum 41. Oh, his soccer jersey?
Yeah, so he wore this not only on Warped Tour performances, but also in the music videos for Fat Lip and In Too Deep, which were kind of their breakthrough hits.
And the first time Sum 41 played the Warped Tour, they hadn't even been signed, and there was a guy named Donald K. Donald, who was a promoter up in Montreal. Mm-hmm. And he was involved in the Warped Tour, and he says, "Hey, there's these great kids up here, and can you find a spot for them?" And of course, I'd always try to find for a local band, and Sum 41 was one of those bands, and then Simple Plan, who will be playing up in the Plaza today. Oh yeah, I'm just looking through this. So that's a Katie dress. I remember her wearing that on stage, and her guitar, which I still think she was learning how to play.
Yeah, I think so too.
Out there on the tour.
Her time on Warped in 2008 was actually her very first tour.
Yeah, and a lot of people would say, when I go back and explain, Katy Perry, if she was on a traditional tour, would have played first. Mm-hmm. And by putting her up, I challenged her each and every day by trying to throw her up right before Bring Me the Horizon, or right after, Pierce the Veil, or one of these bands. And it was just made her a live act. And also, I think, she's a good person. I mean, she got very involved with Music Cares, who we were involved with. She's been involved in our 2015 charity event that she did that. So I think it balanced. She's always said it made her a live act. One, she worked her ass off out there, and she saw it. And always one of those moments where you look back and there was a lot going for her. She just needed a little boost. She was on her 3rd record deal, I think, by then, and where's she gone now? She's doing amazing things.
So these pajamas were worn by Jay Bentley from Bad Religion every single performance at Warped 1998, and never washed.
Yeah. And I don't think he washed himself either that whole summer. It was a very So I do remember those pajamas, and trust me, he might have been the smartest guy out there. Look how thin that material is. Those summers were hot and sweaty. Wow, this next part.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a really special story that you brought to my attention that I wanted to make sure we included.
Well, in every family you're going to lose members, and these are all the people we lost. Quite a few. This one. I took a position at USC. As a professor. And I'm now teaching 5 classes there. And I get an email on my USC address that says, my name is Mary, and my son was a huge fan of the Warped Tour. And this photo turned up on a website, and we're very proud of that photo. He loved the Warped Tour. It inspired him to go to school. It inspired him to write music and become who he was. And somehow that photo turned up, and she found it, and she wanted to contact she had contacted the photographer, and she wanted to meet me because it was such an influence on his life, even though I'd never met him. And she had a shirt for me with his image on there. And she went on to tell me the story about him being hit by lightning and killed in Los Angeles. We don't have lightning storms in Los Angeles. And he loved surfing, he loved skating, he loved music, he was playing music. And he was at the beach during a freak storm, and he was the one person killed by lightning in California during that storm. And I had heard that because one of the reasons I'm ending this tour was each day I had to run towards the lightning. When there were storms, whatever was going on, it was my job to run to the lightning. And Nick was killed by lightning, but that epitomizes, beyond everything in here, these artifacts, that epitomizes the spirit of what Warped Tour was. It was your freedom to express and be yourself. And I mean, I could tell stories for hours about all these people. I mean, and I'm sure we missed others, and I wish, but you're not forgotten, and these people will not be forgotten in my heart.